Hi, Zsolt. Should we maybe start with a brief introduction? Maybe you want to start?
Yeah, hi Francesco, good morning. Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Zsolt from Camelot Management Consultants. Since 14 years, I'm working with Camelot, which is a consulting firm specialized on value chain. And I'm responsible within Camelot for the competence center transport management. That means that basically with my team, we are supporting customers along transport management and supply chain execution in different aspects. On strategic level, like assessments, target picture creation, transport strategy. We are doing also a lot of process design, process reengineering and optimization, and also IT consulting. So that's basically my background, and I'm really happy to be here and talk to you, Francesco.
Nice. So then maybe I go next. My name is Francesco Di Vonzo. I'm Italian engineer, 10 years of experience in transportation and logistics. And then since 2019, I joined Alpega as a senior pre-sales consultant. And I'm here today, Zsolt, to talk about our new product, SAP Fusion, and to see how our solution could really effectively integrate SAP and Alpega TMS to ensure a seamless collaboration across various scenarios. But more on that, I also really keen to hear from you what is your experience on SAP migration. So maybe what are for you the top 4 challenges that you are facing with your customer while doing a migration to S4?
Yeah, indeed. So, but I also mentioned that we are doing a lot of process and IT consulting, and of course the majority of our customers are also having an SAP ecosystem somehow. So that's why I'm also really happy that being also a partner with Alpega, that now we are talking about this SAP Fusion product, which is a great opportunity also for our customers to investigate scenarios and use cases where Alpega can really add value to their current SAP setup. So I am really happy to do so. In terms of challenges, yeah, so you mentioned S4 migration. So definitely that's what we are also seeing, that customers are, recently they often are starting a comprehensive and typically a long and cumbersome journey with an S4 initiative. And this affects a lot of areas within the organization and the company. And, logistics and transport management has oftentimes a lower priority. And therefore, also in terms of the roadmap, it also comes maybe a bit later in the whole rollout, even if you are talking about a big company with a lot of countries or regions where the solution is being rolled out.
That's a really good point. I think one of our main goal is really to put the transportation and logistics to give them a higher priority. We know that often, as you said, the migration can be cumbersome and takes many years. Often hearing from our customer that they takes maybe 2 years for the migration, then there's always a delay. So what I always ask to my customer is, can you afford it really to wait 1, 2, maybe even 3 years without TMS? If it's then maybe if it's not like this, then let's start soon. And this is also what we call it, the Alpega always on approach. So we want to start soon as possible with the TMS, with the IDOC, and connect with your R3 ACC environment. And then once you will be ready and finally you will be done with your migration, then we can start with the migration to the SAP API integration to S4HANA. So that is always one of our concepts, to start as soon as possible and to put TMS as our first higher priority.
And I liked what you mentioned with this question, what you're asking your customers is, can you afford another 1, 2, maybe 3 years? This is exactly in line what I meant with this maturity of the customers in terms of TMS, right? So there are customers who might have already a solid TMS setup, but of course there are also customers where we either have a really old and outdated legacy system, or maybe they have Elytra, the older version of transportation management in the ERP world. And of course here also we have some deadlines to keep in mind, and that's the reason why then of course also the pressure is higher. And then of course I also see that Alpega can be really a great solution and opportunity.
No, that's a really good point. And what will be then your second one?
Yeah, I mean, challenges, there are a lot. Yeah. So if you're now continuing with this process with the S4 migration, of course, this long initiative, long project, they are also taking a lot of resources at the customers, right? And of course, IT resources today are also very scarce, and the availability of IT resources also within companies is always a topic. So I would say that another challenge is related exactly to this, having IT resources capable of supporting a long initiative including the setup of the new transport management system.
Exactly. I'm happy to hear that, because one of our main goal when we started, I would say about a year ago with Alpega to think about it, this new product, SAP Fusion, one of our goal was to save SAP IT resources from our customer side, leveraging our standard SAP interfaces. So that's absolutely one of our strength and one of our goal.
Yeah, I mean the third one is also a bit related to that point, because just to add one more so to that. So of course, availability of IT resources or poor availability of IT resources can also be one of the reasons why these initiatives are taking also so long. And then again, we are back at the beginning that we say there are very valid business targets and goals, and logistics wants to have better solutions, better processes, more visibility, and so on. But also due to this availability problem and longer projects, the achievement of these goals is at a challenge, right? Another problem here is that it also depends on the customers, but especially big customers having also regional organizations and regional transport setup. They have also frequently, but they are coping with a high number of process variants and the relatively low level of process harmonization throughout the organization, and of course an approach which would enable a higher company-wide process standardization, and by doing so also enabling a quicker realization of business benefits. It would be also very helpful for customers. That's also one of our experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, standardization is for sure one of our goal. But I think between me and you, where I think we can really bring value are the mid-complex companies. So where maybe TM Basic might be too basic, and on the other side, TM Advanced might be too complex. And then the complexity is also then bringing also higher project and therefore difficult ROI. And within Alpega, I believe that we can really make the ROI achievable within the first year, especially in this I would call it mid-complex scenario. So between the basic and between SAP TM Advanced. What was the last one, maybe?
I can mention another last challenge which we see at customers, maybe a bit different, because so far we were talking about this S4 migration, right? Our starting point was always that customer having this long initiative ahead of them, and then the question is when logistics and transportation management is on the roadmap, long process, poor availability of resources, and so on. And we saw this value what Alpega could bring here. But I do see also another starting point and another important value that Alpega, and also especially with this SAP Fusion product, so really the combination of SAP TM and Alpega can bring, because customers might already have SAP TM, maybe even in a standalone version, or they already have implemented SAP TM. But it does not mean that in that situation Alpega would not be an option anymore, because I also see customers using SAP TM, using different features, maybe or even of the advanced version. They are doing their planning there, they are doing their freight cost management, their settlement, and so on, and they are also happy with that. But there are, especially in terms of carrier collaboration, so in terms of these collaborative processes, frequently we see that they are facing challenges, and they are thinking about a value-adding additional solution which they could add basically to their overall landscape and overall setup. These customers have using already SAP TM, but they are facing challenges in terms of carrier collaboration, in terms of the collaborative processes, especially as far as subcontracting is concerned, the access to a certain carrier pool is concerned, also for spot tendering, also dock appointment scheduling, or dispute management, invoicing, self-billing. So all of those processes where a certain level of collaboration is necessary within the customer, so the shipper and their partners, mostly the carriers. Here, of course, it happens that a purely SAP-based ecosystem might not be sufficient to fulfill business requirements. And here, considering Alpega's strengths in that area, I think that would be another opportunity to cope exactly with this challenge. But I don't know, how do you see this, Francesco?
No, that's another good point. Yes, so we have customer that they are keep maybe the planning and some other functionality in SAP TM, since maybe, as you said, they have already implemented and so on, but they are looking forward to improve the carrier collaboration, right?
Mm.
And this is, who knows Alpega know that we are working with carrier since really when we start, so since 30 years. So carrier collaboration, carrier connectivity is our core. And so thanks to Alpega, we have a network of more than 80,000 carriers. So meaning that we can really make the collaboration with the carriers smooth. And then in a different part of the end-to-end process, as you were mentioning. So starting from the tendering, through the carrier booking, dock reservation, status exchange with the carrier, but also at the end, of course, cost auditing. So I would say, generally speaking, if carrier collaboration is key, then probably we are the right answer to complete SAP.
And that's exactly why I also like this SAP Fusion product, because I think there are really opportunities to combine a very strong and powerful SAP TM in some sense, but also combining the strengths of Alpega and bringing exactly those two parts together. Yeah.
No, thanks. So I think they were all good point. And so maybe another question: what would it look like to migrate to S4HANA in general, from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, what we see recently is that generally, if you are talking about integrating an external TMS, let it be Alpega or let it be also a 4PL based model. You know, customers might have an outsourced transportation operating model, but then it's very important that customers have a central TMS, which is enabling central transparency on transport operations in terms of shipments, freight costs, and so on. And that's why if you are talking about the integration of external solutions, then the former way how they did this, it was with the delivery based integration, where you know that delivery was sent out to an external system, and then basically a shipment document could be then sent back as a result in the Elytra. And by having S4 now in place, and also having this basic logistics module as well in place with new objects like the freight unit or the freight order, which are representing logistics reality much better, then of course there are also other opportunities. So basically that's also becoming the new best practice, I would say, that if a customer has an SAP system, an S4, but wants to integrate with the external world, with an external TMS solution, then this is really happening based on those new objects which the SAP TM, so the logistics module, is basically offering. So freight unit and freight order, and this has really various advantages in terms of standardization, in terms of the smooth integration into finance and controlling, and that's definitely a very positive effect of S4, and I think also a chance for external systems like, external than the non-SAP systems like Alpega to enable a better and smoother integration.
Maybe I want to just recap what are the difference and the core differentiator and how we can complete better SAP TM. So I would say that SAP TM, Alpega TMS, together with SAP Fusion, I would say, first of all, we are going to have a communication platform. So it means that we are enabling a better external stakeholder communication, like with the carrier. Second, I would say that we are less complex than advanced, but more complete than basic. And this will enable a quicker ROI, of course. And this is also together with a quick implementation. So the on average, I would say, of course, then depending on the customer situation, scenarios, and so on and so forth, but I think we could say that between 5 and 6 months we can go live. And this, of course, is ensuring a quicker ROI. And then, of course, to close is with SAP Fusion, our customer can really avoid stressful integration issues, leveraging our standard out-of-the-box SAP interfaces. That's, at the end of the day, the main goal.
Maybe one thought just came to my mind, Francesco, when you were talking about this integration and the whole ROE and the implementation part. So we started with this thought process that customers having a S4 S4 roadmap and S4 initiative ahead of them, and then in order to really have a quick realization of project goals and elevating transport management already on the next level, it is a good opportunity to implement Alpega TMS in combination with SAP, right? So that's basically what you said at the beginning. And then, of course, if we look at the perspectives or the outlook, then that's also a very nice situation that later on there are also different options for those customers. They can, of course, keep Alpega as the key TMS, but there are also other migration options. They can say, okay, now we might need an SAP TM advanced version, and now the roadmap is there, and now we are really also on the roadmap. And for example, they are implementing SAP TM advanced, but still they say that they would like to keep Alpega for this collaboration aspect in order to be the key platform for these collaborative processes, what we were just talking about, in order exactly to leverage on that strengths of Alpega. So I also see these different migration scenarios later on. So first we are bridging this time gap and we are realizing quick benefits, but then also later it is definitely a valid scenario to say we keep Alpega for collaboration, or even they say we keep Alpega for the full-fledged TMS setup, right? So this is also possible. Different options.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So different options, different scenarios, depending on the customer situation. So I would say thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your experience and also enthusiasm about SAP Fusion. And for sure, we will have the opportunity to talk again each other. And again, thank you very much and have a nice day.